All right. So we are back with round one. This game just started. So game one is in progress here between Steve T, who's the
And
player we're
Daniel.
following, and Daniel M. So we don't have Daniel in the chat, so we don't know what's going on with his hand. So we're watching this from Steve's perspective. But we can tell you a bit about the deck. So even though these weren't the feature drafter, Steve has an Azorius deck, so has a lot of flyers, a bunch of cheap creatures here. You can see he has a lifelinker, he has a tempo creature, the Deadeye Rigcaller. Daniel had quite a bit of fixing. As you can see, he has two dual lands in play, and he's playing an Abzan deck. Just playing all the best sort of cards in those colors, from what we could tell. So into the game state. Let's,
Viewing we got Vanishing versus getting syncopated.
yeah, so Daniel has decided he wants to remove the tapper since it is allowing Steve's creatures to get through. So right now this board is just a bunch of smallish creatures. Ah,
There's that ley line. That's probably the one that
yeah,
Damien passed a couple
yeah,
times.
yeah. Daniel was drafting quite near to Damien, so a lot of the cards that Damien didn't want. So I believe the Sandworm, the Greater Sandworm, the Leyline Invocation, those did end up in his hands.
The Gavany Trapper has no problem keeping a 7/7 at bay.
Yes, I assume that's why he targeted the Gavany Trapper because he had the big creature in hand and wanted to be able to get through with it.
What was that play that we just saw? He tapped on. I think he thought he was going to attack.
Yeah, he tapped on his turn, leaving the 7/7 able to attack this turn.
It's nerves from
So
Chaos Draft
that
number one.
might have been a slight, yeah. I think that was a bit of
I, for
a,
one, never make mistakes.
yeah.
So I don't know what that's like.
It was a slight error, but
Mm.
it's in lockdown now. But now there's another problem here with the Dawnheart Mentor just being able to pump anything, give
That's a
anything
six
plus three
mana
plus three
pump, but
trample.
it's
So
yeah trample.
Tapper doesn't really work favorably against that because once the
No,
creature gets into combat, he can then pump then. So with no way to get it off the board, this Dawnheart Mentor might take over the game here. Yeah, he can just send his worst creature in and threaten to deal four with it.
you know what? I don't know if Steve is streamed for a bunch of people watching before, but I know it's in the back of your mind. You're like, oh, everyone's watching,
Oh yeah,
and then you.
100%. Yeah, right.
So this is going to be 4 damage to face if it gets through.
Yeah, I mean, how Steve can't really go, very long before this kills him, right? Like this is
Yeah,
literally gonna kill him if he doesn't keep blocking. So
he chose not the pump. There's an
he chose not
instant
to pump.
probably.
He could have an instant. Uh, yeah, this draw, the Billion Veil, might help him take less damage for a turn, but it's not a permanent solution. That's for sure. So going to
So
combat,
probably yeah.
7/7 getting tapped again.
This time on the right turn.
Yeah, but again, there's just it's just so threatening. The Dawnheart Mentor just being able to like everything could be a threat here.
So Daniel didn't use any mana last turn. Is that right?
Nope. Yeah, he didn't pump and he didn't cast anything. I'm surprised he's not attacking with the Death Touch creature just because it pairs so well with the trample that it can get. It's basically with Death Touch and trample, you just need to deal one damage. So if he just single blocked, it would always deal three if he pumped it to four power, regardless
Yep.
of the toughness of the creature. So that's a good way to get the opponent pretty dead.
Being
Yeah.
Veil is actually a good response to Death Toucher as long as the Death Toucher is not being pumped.
Well, it's a stopgap for a turn, but he needs something to get that 0-4 off the board, which White Blue famously has a hard time getting things off the board. Often they can
Well, a
they
bounce
they can
would work well.
pacify and they can do other things, but to just get a creature dead, yeah, this attack is gonna create all sorts
A
of
bounce
trouble
would
here.
work well if he has it for that 7/7.
So he has to block everything, and the Death Toucher kills him if pumped, but he has the Bane Veil, so he's gonna make it through this turn. But he does have to block everything.
Yeah, it's not looking great. He will get 4 damage if he defiances his. Sorry, 4 health if he
Yeah, so
defiances
these
his
are
life.
probably about the best blocks he could have come up with. Yeah, so he's going to make his thing a 4/4.
Well, they trade. That's.
No, it's not. Yeah, that's about the best he can do here. So that means he still just has the Bane Veil for the next turn. So he's bought himself another shot.
Still has Coven now. 0/1/2. Easy Coven.
Okay, so he has a lifelink creature here, but the pumping damage from the Dawnhart Mentor is gonna probably outrace
That's a really good
the
draw,
2
though.
points of
It's
life gain.
a
It's
blocker and it's a lifelinker. It's
oh
a really good draw,
it's
regardless.
good. We'll see if it's good enough.
The 4 damage per turn is being negated by 2 lifelink now. So
Yeah, no, he's staying alive here without having a permanent answer to the Dawnhart Mentor. He's finding a way to stay alive. So he's gonna block here. If it gets pumped,
it's gonna kill both of them because it's Death Touch, right?
well, he's gonna Bane Veil, so he's just gonna
Yeah,
lose
but it's
one piece of life gain.
gonna still do damage.
Yeah, it's still gonna kill both. So the Bane Veil doesn't do anything here.
The double block was bad, I think.
That
Oh no, 1 health.
was
Wait, what?
yeah.
Wait, it doesn't matter.
He could have done different there. All right. Well,
Oh, that thing wasn't dying no matter what. I was thinking it was. It
no.
was a free
Oh
health
well.
pool.
Okay. Well, the pacifism means that the Death Toucher doesn't attack anymore. So this is his way back in. The pacifism is good here, but as soon as Daniel HP Wizard finds another reasonably sized creature, it's just going to be the same problem again.
You're getting 2 life per turn though.
Yeah. Okay. Long Tusk Cub, 2/2 threatening to be a 5/5. So Daniel's at 10 mana. So if he keeps drawing lands, he'll eventually maybe be able to use this thing twice, but we'll see. All right.
Wow, good. Hey,
Good,
that's the flying version of a priest.
good draws here. Yeah, this is a very good draw.
I just realized those cards are best friends.
Yes, they are both excellent commons. Yeah, so Responder getting in. He might have just found what he needs to stay in the game here.
Yeah, the responder draw is crazy.
Responder was good, and then the two creatures that draw cards just to see more cards. Just to dig one card deeper. So here's the 2/2 and the 0/4.
Now, one of the first turns costs 7 life.
Yeah.
For tapping on the wrong turn. So that might make a difference.
Okay, so he's going to throw everything on the Long Tusk Cub, which means that his Responder is dying here.
Well, the Bane Veil turn...
Well, it still puts it to 3 power, though. It's going to be a 3/5, so he's still losing his life gain source here.
It wasn't 100% he was going to buff the Cub, right? Wait,
well, I was pretty
isn't there
sure.
energy? Isn't there energy? Why can't I see the energy?
It gets energy when it deals combat damage to a player, which it didn't. So now he's Blood Beckoning, getting back 2 creatures. I mean, they're both small, but... Okay, a 3/4 is going to stand in front of some of this trample damage. So, Glory Bearer is nothing to write home about as a Magic card, but it's going to soak up some damage here. The Dawnhart Mentor can't attack through it on its own, so it's going to be next turn.
A bit of a comeback.
Yeah, he definitely found the combination of cards he needed to stay alive. No one card could have done it on its own. He just needed to find a series of helpful draws, which he did.
2 cantrips in a row help. And those cantrips
also,
just 4 damage.
As a note, like I mentioned before, HP Wizard's up to 11 lands now, which means 1 more land threatens 2 activations. Now he has a Menace creature.
Oh boy.
Okay, that's a lot of power here. Yeah, that Blood Beckoning, getting back 2 creatures, and then him drawing another creature to follow it up with, that's pretty big. I mean, he can't... Yeah, there's no attacks this turn. Okay, that's I like all these 3-mana draw card creatures. I am a fan.
These X ones are not helping too much against trample
I,
though.
I,
That's
d- I
one.
don't know if this is the correct draw that he needed here, but I am a fan of all of these this style of card. I take them very highly in draft, so I like Steve's style as far as drafting.
Is that 12 land? We're one land off
He's
still,
on
right?
11, but this attack is just threatening quite a bit of damage here.
Yeah, with the menace guy. But is that 11? Some room to play.
Yeah, no, the life gain from the responder was good. I mean, unfortunately, the responder is not in play anymore, but it bought him time. Like Steve is at, or Daniel's at 5 here. Like, there's a couple attacks away from dying, but again, the Dawnheart Mentor is a big problem.
Is this attack good? Doesn't she die in the swing back?
He did get his 12th land now.
Oh, so maybe it is
He
good.
has 2 activations potentially here. So we could be adding 6 power among his creatures. So with 4, 5, 6 toughness against potential 12
If he
total
just lets
power.
the menacer through, the most that he can take is
If he doesn't block the menace could deal 10. So he's double
oh,
blocking the menace, but he can just pump both. So the menace is going to die to the death touch priest, even if he pumps it. But so 7 that deals 2 damage, and then if he pumps the cub, oh, he didn't put the death touch creature on the menace creature.
threat of activation is real here.
Yeah. Him still having a menace creature is a big problem. Yeah, it was so close. It was so close. But just that Dawnheart Mentor again. A classic white blue problem is that you can make stuff stop attacking. You could bounce things. You could tap things, but hard to get creatures just straight up off the board, which is what happened here. That Dawnheart Mentor just took over the game.
Yeah, it was all about the Dawnheart Mentor in the end.
Oh yeah.
Did he just do it on his turn? Oh
no, he's just.
I thought he was joking.
He's yeah, that didn't quite work out. Yeah, like we said, classic white blue problem. I'm sure anybody who's drafted white blue in recent years has felt the pain of just staring at a creature with an activated ability that was taking over the game and having not a single way in your deck to get it away. So we'll see his sideboard in a moment. We'll see what his options are here. Okay, so he obviously did not companion the Gyruda, which we saw in his pool, but he's still playing it because it is excellent.
Looks like 24 lands.
Yeah, so it looks like Daniel went predominantly green-black and is splashing some number of white cards. Because we didn't...
Yeah, Bane Veil says 25 lands.
Yeah, so looking through his cards as far as removal, he doesn't... Like we said, he has a pacifism. He has a tapper. He has 2 counter spells.
There's 2 Justiciar's Portal. I wonder if there's good ETBs. I see Gyruda. It's a good. It's a little bit of a comeback trick.
There's Air Cult Elemental, which bounces a creature.
So it can untap your guy and then have it give
Red Collar, which also bounces a creature if you've attacked. So yeah,
it's hard to use that card, but it could be good.
Yeah, but once again, he was weak to that 04, which nothing in his sideboard really addresses. He has 2 counter spells. But yeah, if it comes down to a game like that again, it's not great for him.
It's a late game hero.
So not a very interesting hand here. Yeah, he decides.
Hey, you could have kept that. You had to opt for
it is keepable. It is keepable, but the fail case is pretty high too, right? Like if either of his next 2 draws are lands, it's just the game's going to be a disaster. At least here he's just going to be able to cast things. So it's either way. I think if you poll players, I think you probably get about half the players saying they'll keep that and half mulliganing. Mm-hmm. Maybe a bit more than half would say they would have kept it.
But even if you didn't have opt, some people would keep it.
Yeah.
This insane combo you get if you just issues the 2/2.
Well, insane is not exactly the way I would describe it, but yes, you could pump something. Was it +0, +1?
The best ETB in the world.
That, I mean, I think he's pretty happy right now to have 2/1/1 tokens against this 2/1.
That's the culture goal.
He's not offering the trade with the 2/2.
Well, I mean,
Which is
Sepulcher is way
strange.
better.
Well,
Sepulcher is way better.
yeah, I think I would have attacked there because as soon as Daniel plays a creature, Sepulcher Ghoul is potentially going to be activated. So maybe it was
Wonder how much
maybe the move was to attack there.
Wonder how much sacrificable stuff he's playing.
Well, in the last game we saw Dawnhart Mentor, which makes a 1/1. We saw Virus Beetle.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw a couple of expendable things.
We saw Pacifism, which is not going to work that well against
Mass
Sepulcher.
Vandal's just a 1/3 blank text.
And I just named the card, so he has to do it on the Sepulcher, or else he's going to get value from.
He doesn't have to do it now. He could leave up his counterspell, but I believe so. The counterspell, it's if you have a flying creature, which he does, I believe it's counter unless they pay 3 or 4.
Lofty Denial. You're definitely going to keep that up this turn.
Yeah.
Let me Google that.
Yeah, normally it's without a flying creature, it just counters unless they pay 1, which is not good. But if you have a flying creature, I believe it's either
4.
3 or 4. Pay 4, yeah. So it's just at this point in the game, it's just a straight up counterspell if he has a flyer.
Looking suspicious.
So Daniel has a good amount of mana here now that he played Gift of Paradise last turn. So he has access to 6 mana. I don't think this is the spell that you counter. If you're
It does counter 2 cards in a way.
Yeah, but I think the classic saying is like, don't counter their draw spell, counter the thing that they play, that they draw.
Like that.
So here's one of his white splashes, Daniel's white splashes. So yeah, Fall of Imposter, which pumps a counter for 2 turns and then exiles the opponent's largest creature. So that is not something he wanted to resolve.
Nothing wrong with countering that.
Gets in for 1 here.
This raging lets you surveil.
I mean, if that was the best thing Daniel could do with 6 mana, then okay, so now he's resolving his Trap Jaw. So that's one of the cards he's splashing for, which at double white, is a bit on the greedier side. But we did see lots of fixing when we looked through his pool between the rounds. He has Gift of Paradise on board and about 4 dual lands.
Probably gonna have to be pacified, giving Sepulcher something to eat.
Yeah, so the pacifism is just going to go on this 5/5 that he can never block or attack through. That thing is just the biggest stop sign.
It'd be pretty neat to just issue the Whisper Agent if the Sepulcher comes in, because it'll untap, give it first strike, and you get the Surveil again.
It's a possibility. Yeah.
Or he wants to give it up now.
Looks like it's just...
Wait, it's going to leave combat, huh? Oh. No, but... No, that's not good.
No, that's not... Well...
It
means that his thing's a 3/3, which means now they have to sack their Trap Jaw in order to trade with the Whisper Agent. But
that's fine.
It seems like a bit of a liberal use of the...
What card was that?
It was +1/+0, Indestructible, and Lifelink from Kaladesh. Rush of Vitality, I believe. So basically, he got his Whisper Agent, and the Justiciar's Portal did nothing. So he 2-for-1'd him there, and still has his Sepulcher to show for it.
I do like rebuying the ETB of Attempt. Is one of the worst ETBs you can ever find on the card.
Yeah, that was a bit of a greedy use of... It was a strange use of the Justiciar's Portal, because all he did was just make it so that he had to sack his already pacified creature in order to trade, which is not really asking much of the opponent. And then the opponent blew him out because he had a trick. So
it would have been good to use Whisper Agent on defense there. Yeah, that might
have been something you want to try when your opponent's attacking rather than when you're attacking. So despite not having a land, he's kept the flyer here, knowing that when he gets a land, he's going to be able to play a 3/3 flyer.
There are a lot of lands in the deck, no pressure right now.
Here's the Turgrid's Lantern, which dominated League play and is looking like it might dominate this game.
Take 3 for now.
Yeah, so I don't think he has any clean answers. I don't think he has any Banishing Light type effects, which is what he needs here. So is the Flyer gonna outrace multiple Lantern activations here?
You got a couple 1/1s for
I mean,
Mercy.
He can activate it 3 times a turn, right?
Can he?
Yes. Because it doesn't cost anything to activate, so he can activate it, untap for 4, do it again.
Oh,
and then
3 times.
And you could do it instant speed as well.
I'm not familiar with that card. Okay.
Yeah, so it's cost 4 to untap, and it when you use it, it's just a tap ability.
Jeez.
Yeah, so opponent loses 3 life unless they discard a card or sacrifice a non-land. So as you can see, this has warped the game in 1 turn cycle. It's completely warped the game. Guess he plays his Gyruda, sees if he can find something of use here.
Interestingly, Bubble Snare is an enchantment, right? So Heron Blessed Geist can give you 2 more 1/1s if he puts Bubble Snare on one of the opponent's creatures.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get to that point. So no targets in...
Yeah, that was...
Maybe, if you play that pre-combat, he gets 2 extra damage. And
missed 2 damage. What I'm saying is he has more fodder than it looks like.
He had the Vanishing Verse anyway, so this Lantern, in about 2 turns, this Lantern's going to finish this up. He doesn't have to attack even. Yeah, he only has 1 point of evasion now. This is brutal.
He might have outs in his deck for if he survives here at 2 health.
Yeah, in this type of format where you're unlikely to be under like immense pressure just based on the texture of it being a Chaos draft, this card is even better than it is in normal.
No, you go to 2 health. It's actually lethal if you grab some 2 mana removal spell.
I mean, this was very good, and that card was very good in its draft format, and it's like way better in this type of format. This is devastating right now.
I think you see what you draw with the Priest first.
Yeah, I mean, if
you can survive a turn.
If it's not something that just deals infinite damage or gets rid of the Lantern, it's not going to be it's not going to be the correct draw.
No, I mean the 2 mana. Oh, never mind. That had to be a top deck.
Okay, so he plays his Priest.
It's going to 3. If he goes to 4, it's something.
He needs to go to... Yeah, he needs to go above 3. Wow, that's not a card you see very often. I believe it's just exile a creature with power less than or equal to your life total. So when you get low on life...
So he's at 4 health because of Justiciars, actually. So...
I think the creature's power has to be equal or greater than your life total.
Yeah.
So when you're at a low life total, it can kill big things, and the rest of the game it kills nothing. So you're 20
whoa! That bought you an extra trigger. Use that on your Ancient Lore. You're at 4. You have another turn.
You would have gained a life.
Get rid of the snare.
Yeah. I mean, opponents have 4. There's maybe some draws that can get them out of this.
I think
but now they have to sack things. He can gain 3 life now. He can bounce his Gift of Paradise and then recast it for another 3 life. He doesn't have enough mana, but he can't recast it right away. But yeah, there's no way out here.
For the first Lantern trigger, you should put your Ancient Lore.
Yeah, it was a weird play he made with the Justiciar's port earlier in the game, but once Lantern came down, it didn't really matter.
It's a tough card to play.
Like he was also he mulliganed on the play. Yeah, this was you see the power of a rare like this, just completely.
You have a lot of land
warping this game.
Works well when you have a lot of land in play.
Yeah, well, he got the right combination of things, right? He got a lot of lands. He got high enough life total. he got board presence, and then he slammed the lantern. Like, yeah, life is good.
Inescapable Blaze.
Well, that gets that is an actual answer to the
You should show it.
lantern, but
Yeah.
about 4 turns ago, that he might have won the game, but
Oof.
so he did have one answer to it, but that was
That was his
unfortunate.
league, right? That was his own league. His league did. In a 60 card deck, though, how much is he going to?
All right. Is there any other
Watch
games?
someone else?
We can hop over into one of the. Let's go to the. Let's go one down here.
Okay.
Greetings.
Hello. How would you like to be a feature match?
Yes.
We just need one of you to we need both of you to earmuff and one of you to stream.
Okay. I will deafen.
Thank you very much.
We'll stream.
Caleb
there we go.
is streaming. All right, so they're both deafened, so we're good to go. So let's pick this up here. We know Caleb has a blue-black value-based deck. Looks like he has a forest, so he's splashing for something. We saw Gray had a Abzan draft. Looks like he's just gone for green-black here based on what we see in play.
Caleb is 6-time top 8er, and this is that game on the line.
He's going for his first win. He's going for his first league win and his 6th try in the top 8. So Gray, this is his first top 8. Like I said, he had his draft seemed to be Abzan leaning towards Golgari. Looks like from what we can tell, he decided not to splash. Caleb don't know exactly what he's splashing, but I know that he has a lot of value in his blue-black deck. So the goal of his deck is to get to the late game. He has a couple creatures that can recur instants and sorceries from the graveyard and card draw. I think it's just to build a value train and just bury the opponent eventually.
I imagine he had a good green card. We didn't really notice.
Yeah, we didn't notice because it was so clear that he was blue-black. We didn't look at the other colors, but we'll see during sideboarding if he wins this game. So as of note, Gray is up 1-0. Looks like Gray has a bit of the upper hand here with a 7/7.
An old stick fingers.
Which can, I believe it grows with every creature that ends up in the graveyard.
On the ETB, I think, or is it it's a star, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. No. So when you cast it, you can mill a bunch of cards just to see if you hit creatures, but it's power and toughness are equal to creatures in the graveyard. So.
Oh, there's a white. So he is splashing white.
Okay, so he is splashing white. He had a Trostani. That was the most notable white card.
And the board clear, right?
Yeah, he had the Vanquish the Horde, but that was double white. So not sure how much he wants to splash that. We saw Trostani. There was maybe like some removal pacifism type effects. Again, we saw each player's pool briefly. So here's a Wolfkin Bond, making now a 6/5. It still doesn't attack that profitably. But profitably enough to attack. Yeah. So Caleb's blocks here, he can't really block the 7/7. I think he needs the Murmuring Mystic to stay in the game, to make chump blockers when he draws spells. So he got the 6/5 off the board, which grows the stick fingers again, which is a problem. And now another big trampler, which is problems piling up here for Caleb. He found his Teferi, which
and this Teferi can use
the of his deck.
I think this Teferi can use things at instant speed.
Okay. Yeah, he can use it. Yeah, he can use it during the opponent's turn as well. So he found an ice over here. So the stick fingers is out of commission now. The siege room is still a problem. Teferi can phase it out, but I believe it's a minus. It's either -2 or -3, so he can only phase it out so many times.
I'll look that up. It is a -3 to phase out.
Yeah, the minus. Yeah, so if he -3s, it's another two cycles before he can, or 2 uses. Yeah, so the plus one is just looting. Yeah, the plus one is a loot. It's just draw and discard. -3 is phasing out, which was last year in M21 we saw the the return of phasing after being gone for many, many years. Okay, so he's throwing everything at the Teferi. He wants it gone.
Is it a trick or?
I don't think there's much of a way to save this Teferi here. He could maybe eat 2 of the creatures and let the Teferi die and get another. And even the phasing out doesn't do much, but
looks like a trick maybe because eating 2 creatures.
Yeah,
You could have just swung the Siege Worm in. It wouldn't have killed the Teferi, but it would have. Oh no, but there's the sorry, the -3 is going to do something as well.
Okay, so he's sacking his Stick Fingers to kill. I'm guessing the Murmuring Mystic.
Yeah, it was
he's looking at his Teferi, and I think he wanted to phase out his Mystic. But Teferi only phases out opponent's creatures. So that's actually an instance where, because he opened up his Teferi, and I think he was thinking about saving his Mystic, but
if you -3, it's getting hit.
Well, it's getting
Teferi would be dead either way.
Teferi is is dead. The phasing doesn't. I guess he's just milling here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the +1 is just milling.
There's the hands empty.
The Thieving Skydiver wasn't doing anything anyway, so.
It's not the worst situation for Caleb right now. It's getting a little worse with 2 more.
He has draws that can get him out of this. That's not. That's not the start of it. And I believe Gray has is it a Tapping at the Window or Path to the Festival in his graveyard? I think it's Path to the Festival, which is the ramp card.
That gives you a scry?
Yeah, if you have 3 basic types, which he does. So he goes and gets a land, he's going to scry 1 now.
Only taking 5, so there's time here.
Yeah, he's it's not trending favorably over the last couple turns for Caleb, but he's a very crafty player. So with the right set of draws, he's gonna work his way out of this.
So not taking 5, taking 7, but he loses a creature. That's okay.
He gets the hexproof off the board, which is hexproof is annoying. So all right, so this is
there's a drop.
He's only gonna have 1 mana left over, but which basically means
that worked out well.
Which means he absolutely has to find an answer because he's taking another 5 now, putting him to 5, or taking 6 if opponent wants to throw away 1. That is.
No. That's really sad.
Yeah.
Still has time.
He has 1 turn. Yeah, so if Gray wants to push 1 extra damage, he can attack all. And throw away one of his 1/1s. Otherwise, he can just attack with the 5/5.
Since your 5/5's trample.
Yeah, he's putting him to 4.
That was unfortunate 2 draws there after the block it.
For some reason, he didn't crack his Evolving Wilds.
Oh no, that's really sad for Caleb.
Oh, I guess he didn't crack his Evolving Wilds because he scryed on top. But yeah, this is.
It's not actually over, right? You survive at 1 health.
Correct. This is. This is.
It's pretty over though, because the 1/1's gonna.
I don't know if he has a way to kill 2 things in his deck in 1 shot. We'll see.
The 1/1 is lethal.
I'm surprised he didn't attack with the 1/1 there.
Yeah, because the 1/1's lethal now. A top deck removal spell. Well, it depends what Gray has.
That's just another. Yeah. That's just another creature. Yeah, that's not going to be it. Well,
Caleb drew 3 lands at a very crucial time.
Yeah, no, those draws were really, really unfortunate.
Good games.
Very, very unfortunate draws there.
You see,